Assalamualaikum to Madam Siti Samsiar. Good day, everyone. Today, our group will present the financial performance analysis of two major utility companies in Malaysia, which is YTL Power International Berhad and Tenaga Nasional Berhad. Next slide. This is our team member. First of all, my name is Amal Syahmi bin Subair.
My name is Frazerr bin Helman.
My name is Hasmi Bin Rayau.
Our analysis focus on four aspect: liquidity, probability, efficiency, and leverage based on financial ratio calculated by the company annual report. Okay, first slide is liquidity for company YTL Power International Berhad. First, I will explain the ratio measure the company ability to meet short-term obligation. Second is current ratio. The current ratio is calculated by dividing current asset by current liability. For YTL Power, the current asset are 19,173 for 6,000 and current liability are 10,851 49,000. When we divided this figure, the current ratio is 1.77 times. This means YTL Power has 1.77 of current asset for every one of current liability, including strong short-term financial stability. Third is a quick ratio. The quick ratio includes inventory from the current asset, focusing only on the most liquid asset. After deducting inventory, the quick ratio for YTL Power is 1.69 times. This shows that even without relying on inventory, the company can comfortably pay its short-term debit. Next slide is profitability for YTL Power, which measure the company ability to generate profit. Firstly is a gross profit ratio. The profit ratio is calculated by dividing gross profit by revenue. YTL Power recorded a gross profit of 5,486 to 187,000 and revenue of 21,871,000. This result in a gross profit ratio of 25.17%. This indicated good cost control and efficient production activity. Next is a net profit ratio. The net profit ratio is calculated by dividing net profit by revenue. YTL Power net profit is 2,671 825,000. The net profit ratio is 12.26%, showing that the company is able to convert a reasonable portion of revenue into net income. And the last is a return on capital employed, which is ROCE. Measure how efficiently to the company use its capital to generate operating profit. EBIT is 4,850 and 507,000 and capital employed is 64,243,000. The ROCE is 7.59%, indicating a moderate but stable return on long-term capital. Now I will pass the presentation to the next speaker.
Okay, I will continue to about the next slide. So I will present about the efficiency ratios for whitetail power. So the efficiency ratios measure how effectively the company use its asset. For inventory turnover, is calculated by dividing cost of sales by inventories. Whitetail Power recorded an inventory turnover of 18.61 times. This means inventory is sold and replaced frequently, showing efficiency inventory management. Uh, for the account receivable turnover and average collection period, is calculated by dividing revenue by receivable, resulting in 4.59 times. And the average collection period is then calculated as 365 divided by the receivable turnover, which equals uh, 80 days. This indicates that YTL Power takes around 80 days on average to collect payments from customer. So next slide is leverage, uh, which the company financial risk and debt level. So I will talk about debt ratio, which calculated by dividing total liabilities by total asset. YTL Power's debt ratio is 0.71, meaning that 71% of its assets are financed through debts. And the debts to equity ratio is 2.46 times, indicating a high reliance on borrowed funds compared to shareholders' equity. And the time interest earned is calculated by dividing EBIT by finance cost. And the result is 3.14 times, showing that YTL Power can comfortably cover its interest expenses.
So now I will present the financial performance of Tenaga Nasional Berhad. For liquidity, TNB recorded a current ratio of 1.19 times calculated by dividing current asset by current liability. The indicate that TNB can meet its short-term obligation but with the less flexibility compared to YTL Power. The second is quick ratio. After excluding inventory, the quick ratio is 1.11 times, showing that liquidity is adequate but relative tight. So the next slide is profitability ratio for 10B company. So the first is gross profit ratio. 10B gross profit ratio is 31.96%, reflecting strong operating margin in electricity generation and distribution. The second is net profit ratio. The net profit ratio for the TNB company is 8.33%, which is lower due to high finance costs. The third is return on capital employee. The return on capital employee for 10B company is 6.36%, indicating a lower return on the large amount of capital invested in the business. So the next slide is efficiency ratio for 10B company. The first is inventory turnover. Inventory turnover for 10B is 50.17 times, showing effective inventory management. The second is the account receivable turnover is 5.23 times, and the average collection period is 70 days, which is reasonable for a national utility company. The third slide, leverage for 10B company. The first is the debt ratio for 10B is 0.63, meaning 63% of asset are financial by debt. The second is the debt to equity ratio is 1.70 times, 3 times, indicating a high level of leverage. However, the times interest unit ratio is only 0.94 times, which means operating profit is not sufficient to fully cover interest expenses. So the next I pass to my friends.
So here we can conclude that YTL Power International Berhad demonstrates stronger financial stability, which is they have a good liquidity, efficient operation, and the ability to manage its debt effectively. And for the Tenaga Nasional Berhad, they show strong operational performance, but they face a higher financial risk due to heavy reliance on debt and high interest costs. Overall, Whitetail Power appears more financially sustainable in the long term, while TNB remains strong operationally but needs careful debt management. So that's all from us. Thank you.